You know, manga is a medium I never thought I would enjoy as much as I have been, and so much so that I just have to have more of it, a lot more. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be sharing with you all the manga series I plan on reading in the future, and there are quite a few series here that I'm really excited to talk about. But you know, I'm pretty new to manga. I've known about it, of course, for years and years, but it wasn't until last year that I decided to cut my teeth on a fantastic series that I'm glad I picked up for the first time, and that is the Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service. It's about a group of ragtag college students who go into business. They all have various talents. One of them can use a divining tool to find missing corpses. Another one is an embalmer. Another one speaks to the souls of the recently departed. So when they find a corpse, the soul is lingering and you know, with its unfinished business or what have you, and they can communicate with this soul, and the soul can impart its final wishes onto them and say, look, this man stole all my money, I want it back, sort of thing, or I want to be buried with this object, or I'd like to be buried in a plot next to my wife because we lost each other, or whatever the case may be. And there's also a bit of competition for them as well, with other parties performing the same sort of tasks. So there's a little bit of conflict there. But what I really love about the Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service series is the comic relief. There's one character who has an alien sock puppet that delivers one-liners and provides the comic relief, and from the outset you think, when you first start to read this series, you think, a sock puppet who's an alien? Come on! It's absurd, but it works for the series, and you've got to not take this series seriously. It's just a lot of fun to read, and some of the one-liners that the alien sock puppet comes out with are very funny. But it was a fantastic series to cut my teeth on. When I have a bit of time, I do have the Kurosagi Omnibus number 3 to read. Now, they released 18 volumes, I think, and these Omnis are made up of 3 volumes, so it's pretty good value there. You know, they cost about $50 Australian, which isn't too bad. Have to get these from the US, but they're certainly well worth it, and they're very meaty and chunky, and you can just literally sink your teeth into them. So I can't wait to find some time to get into this, and I have actually ordered Omni number 4 as well. And the best thing that attracted me about manga is there are series that are complete, so you don't have to feel intimidated by a series length, and especially with some of these series, they are complete, that I'm going to talk about. Okay guys, so let's kick it off with a very exciting manga series I'm itching to read, and that is Death Note, one of the most famous manga series out there. I first became aware of Death Note in 2012, and at the time I thought, well, this looks really interesting, and it's just been in the back of my mind since. And it's only recently that I thought, getting into manga for the first time, I thought, I'm going to place this pretty high on my list, because the premise is pretty fascinating, where the main character, Light, comes by a special notebook where any human name that appears in the notebook dies. And when he tries to use the book for good, all hell breaks loose. And apart from that, that's all I know about it. I know there's an anime series out there that I haven't looked at. I've been trying to avoid spoilers because I would like to be surprised when I read it. Now, what attracted me to it is that it is complete, so I had to go out and buy it. Now, before I show you what I bought, there are 3 different formats that this is available in. The first format is, of course, the box set with all 12 volumes plus a 13th volume, which is a special compendium, which is included as a bonus in the box set. And you know what, the price was okay. It was very affordable, but I thought, I'm not really sold on how they look spine out, and that's very important to me. And the other way you can get it is by a really big compendium, which is a big bind up of the whole thing in I think it's 2,300 pages long, and it's an absolute brick. Now, I know Ollie over at Criminology brought it and read it in that format, and I was seriously considering it. I had my finger on the proverbial click button on Amazon to get it, but I still wasn't sure what format I wanted to get it in. And of course, the other format was the 2-volume bind-ups, which make up 6 separate 2-volume omnibuses. So I thought, which way am I going to go? And there is a channel out there, Kristen, over at the Anime Collective. I watched her channel because she has some comparisons on various manga series, and I watched her comparison on Death Note. And she goes through in detail every single format. What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the advantages? She doesn't say you have to buy any specific format, but she was very, very thorough, and I found that very, very handy in making my decision. Now, I decided to go with the Death Note Black editions, which I'll show you now, which we have Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 5, and of course Volume 6. Now, what attracted me about these is they're glossy on the spine and their matte finish on the covers themselves. Black sprayed edges, which is very attractive. The only disadvantage with that, with shelfware, they may actually, may actually wear off over time, but that's fine. These are in the B format, which is one of my favorite formats to read in. What is also attractive about these is the first couple of pages. You have color and papers here, which is very, very nice. And reading them in this format, you can see here that it's very, very easy to read. The binding is very durable, so they're going to last a long time, and won't quite take up as much shelf space as the individual units, but the individual volumes. But it's very, very crisp and clear, very easy to read, and can't wait to get stuck in. But that is what influenced which format I wanted to buy, because I was on the fence about it for a little while, and I'm happy with my decision. So there you go. The next series I'm excited to continue with, because I have already started it, and that is Vinland Saga by Makoto Yakamura. I finished the first volume in no time flat, and I have reviewed it on the channel as well if you haven't checked that out yet. But I have actually bought book 2, which contains a few volumes here, and I just love how tactile they are. They're very, very durable as a hardback. They look great spine out, and the illustrations, guys, I just cannot get enough of these illustrations in here. I'll just show you. Look at this. Look at that. How he conveys the movement in his illustrations with action scenes and fighting is incredible. There are, I think there are about 13 volumes in all, omnibus editions, and it's going to take a little while to collect, but I absolutely love it. It's just, comfortable to hold on to. It's not heavy. It's very easy to read. A volume like this I can read almost in a day. So I love the low commitment factor, and I'm smitten with it. Just absolutely love it. I do not regret picking up manga, and looking forward to reading heaps of this in the future. Okay. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Gantz, which is sort of a science fiction kind of series, and it's a massive series. I mean, you can get the Omni editions, which cost about $50 each, and there's about 13 of those. It's just absolutely epic. And when I've been researching it and reading up about it, it's kind of like a Matrix kind of scenario, where a couple of main characters get run over by a subway train, and they go into this other world controlled by this orb, which makes them play games of life and death, and hunting all kinds of odd aliens and stuff like that. It just sounds really, really fascinating. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to show you physically, but it's fascinating, and I've seen a couple of the illustrations in samples and things like that, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So that one, I'm not sure when I'm going to get to that one. I'm probably looking at mid next year for that, but certainly sounds awesome. The next series I wanted to chat about was Tokyo Ghoul, another complete series which is very accessible. I think there's about, don't quote me, but I think there's about 16 individual volumes, and there's a second series as well, I believe. But it's about Ken Kaneki, a student who barely survives a encounter with his date, who reveals herself as a ghoul. Now he has he becomes, or he's already a half ghoul, and this was accomplished by his organs being transferred, his date's organs being transferred into his body, and now he's like them, and he has to battle them to the death and things like that. And these ghouls actually hide in plain sight as well. So it's all about his adventures on how he battles the ghouls, which sounds really, really good. And each volume isn't very long at all. I pretty much think you can read one volume per sitting. So very low commitment and very attractive because it's a complete series as well. Okay, the next one is very, very intriguing. It's an old manga series from the 1970s called The Drifting Classroom, which there are 3 main really thick omni editions of this one, and it's about a school that gets mysteriously transported into a post-apocalyptic future, which is really, really fascinating. Now, given the age of the manga, it looks pretty good, being a 70s manga, and talk about retro, I didn't think manga went back that far, to be honest. And it has very, very strong horror elements, which I'm really looking forward to reading. This one will probably be mid to late next year, I would say. It all depends when I get to it. But being a mood reader now, I might wake up tomorrow and think, I want to buy all 3 volumes and get started right away. The next series I'm pretty keen about is called Akira, which is another very, very well-known manga series, which is an older series as well. Takes place in Neo Tokyo after a massive explosion, and lots of adventure there and science fiction elements. I don't know too much about it. I haven't read up much about it, but the basic plot premise sounds pretty good, and it's very, very well known and revered. And there's a very nice Akira box set on Amazon at the moment for $200, which if you've watched some YouTube videos about Akira and reviews and things like that, the box set is very, very nice. I was tempted to get that, but I'm not in the rush at the moment because there are other series I'd like to read first. But Akira is very, very famous, and it's something I would like to have a crack at. All right, now this next one, I am chopping at the bit to get to, and that is called I Am a Hero. Now, this begins with Hideo Suzuki. He's a 35-year-old manga artist assistant, and his life seems to be stuck around his exhausting but low-paying day job, unfulfilled dreams, and he has strange hallucinations and satisfying relationships. He sees himself as a supporting character in his own life, and what happens is he has to fight against the zombie apocalypse. Now, I have ordered the first volume omnibus, which is out of stock at the moment. It's $40, and I'm just waiting for it to arrive. I just can't wait because I've never seen such beautiful manga art. I'm enjoying the art from Vinland Saga and that sort of thing, but this is just whole next level. I fell in love with the art. And I've read the first few pages, or the first few chapters actually, of the series, and I'm just captivated by it, and I want to read it now. And it is a series where, when the Omni edition finally comes in for me, once my order arrives, I'm going to drop everything and start it, because I think this one is the one I'm looking forward to the most. And there's quite a few volumes in this one. It's going to take a bit of time to get through, but I just can't wait because the art is stunning. If you've ever seen the series or know about it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it is the series I'm most looking forward to out of all this manga I'm talking about. Okay, and how could I not include in this list Attack on Titan, which I've read almost read the first volume of it actually, and captivated about humanity, how it's forced to live behind cities. So that it saves them from these gigantic man-eating humanoids referred to as the Titans, and it's up to Eren Yeager, who vows to exterminate the Titans after bringing about the destruction of his hometown and the death of his mother. And I think it's complete. I think there's 34 volumes in all, so they are released in 3-in-1s, omnibuses as well, which I'm really looking forward to getting my teeth into that one as well. So a lot of these titles I'm talking about are very well known, and yeah, there's a lot of manga out there, but me being into horror and that sort of thing, I think these titles are very, very suitable to my tastes. And lastly, I will talk about this briefly, but I have procrastinated endlessly about this, and I've decided I'm going to read One Piece. I was very much on the fence about it because I've seen some of the art and it looks a bit quirky and a bit ridiculous, but it's gaining popularity at an insane pace at the moment because, as everyone knows, if you've unless you've been under a rock for the past year or so, One Piece has been adapted into a Netflix series, which I haven't actually seen yet, but there's over 100 volumes of One Piece and there's no end in sight. It's very, very intimidating to me, but I'm going to read it digitally. I've decided not to buy the box sets because they're pretty expensive and I don't have the room for them. So I thought I'm going to read it either on digital format or I'm going to borrow them from my local library. So we'll see how that goes, but it is a massive, massive task, and it may be next year, it might be the year after, but I'm not in a rush, but it's something certainly on my radar that I would like to try. That is it for all the manga series I plan on reading in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Offer up any feedback in the comments below, and I'll always respond to that as always. And until the next video, guys, I'll see you later.